Good evening, speed gamers. It is Cataclysm here, and I am bringing you tonight's race. It is an open Link to the Past randomizer race. We have four awesome runners. We have Duke Firebird in the top green corner. In the top red corner, Chloe Prower. The lower blue corner, GFE underscore 1, 2. And then, of course, in the yellow, P-Train. I hope you have a lot of fun tonight. I'm not sure if I'm going to have a co-commentator. We'll see what happens. We're just waiting for the last few runners to ready up. So let's talk a little bit about what we're doing tonight on Speed Gaming 4. We are doing a Link to the Past daily race. We have two of these most days of the week, 2 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Eastern time. And these are just one-off races. If you are a little bit new to running this game, this is a great place to, once you feel confident that you can finish a seed without having to take a break and sleep on it, this is a great place to pop in and just have some fun racing. Some people finish real fast, and there's a lot of competition in the top few spaces. But also, some people just take their time, and that includes me some of the time, taking up to over 2, up to 3, maybe hours to finish a seed. Totally fine, no shame at all. Our runners that we have restreamed tonight are all pretty top notch, so I think we're going to be seeing some really fun races. So Link to the Past randomizer open mode. So we are not going to be seeing the classic opening that you would normally see to Zelda Link to the Past. We're not going to be doing the rescue sequence, rescuing Princess Zelda. We are going to start either in the sanctuary or in our home. And basically, it's called open for a reason. It's like the most open world randomizer you could possibly have. We're going to see some route divergence, hopefully, fairly early with this type of seed. And we don't even start with a sword. We're going to be basically floundering around Hyrule, trying to find anything and everything that we need in order to defeat Ganon. So the new versions of the randomizer the past little while have had some settings that you can set that allow you to change what the basically what the parameters are required to beat Ganon. Sometimes you can set it so that it only takes a couple of crystals, but we have it set to kind of the classic. You need 7 crystals. They can be spread out between the light world and the dark world in a variety of different dungeons. And I guess we're just going to be spending our time looking for all of the items that we need to finish all the dungeons that we need, to get all the crystals that we need to get into Ganon's tower, climb the tower, and kill the big pig. I think we're just getting off to a start here. Seeing a few people popping into the sanctuary. Oh, everybody's going sanctuary and everybody's finding that key. So the sanctuary key, that means that we have a possibility of an item in the back of the escape. We're getting a map check. That was, I believe, at least 2 crystals. One of them, I think, was a red crystal. We have a couple of trackers tonight that are going to be keeping track of the map checks, keeping track of the items. Not too much to do quite yet, but I'm going to be mentioning them now, just so that you'll know who they are and you can give them the props they deserve. We've got Draco Falcone and Red Armor both tracking for us tonight, so give them all of your love because they deserve it. They're doing a lot of work. So far, everybody's heading up the same way. We're getting a save and quit from Chloe Prower, seeing a shield in the Thieves' Hut. We're getting a couple of checks of the ledge. I believe we're just seeing a 20 rupee up there, so not much there. Wow, finally, Chloe popping into our home and finding the bow. That is a really interesting early find. The bow is, in fact, a progressive item. So this basically is one of the few items that you absolutely for single seed. Oh, there's another map check confirming that the Desert Palace is a blue pendant. So we're going to be interested to see if people actually go in there. I think people are going to be avoiding it if they can, but if they start finding items that lead them there, that might be a place to check out. So Chloe did not pick up that shield. Everybody else opted to pick it up. Might as well. And everybody's kind of taking different paths now, or Chloe's taking a different path to get to the same place everybody else is going, which is Lost Woods, and then checking the village of Kakariko. Seeing just a few, yeah, just doing a little double check there, was making sure that what I saw on the ledge was indeed correct. So the racing game was a set of arrows, not particularly useful for us. We're seeing another shield in the library, so we've got a bead on a couple of shields. So far, other than that, we've got a shovel in Blind's hut. See if there's anything in the back of Blind's hut here. Nothing too much. I'm gonna have to keep my eyes on what is in the back of the tavern. I missed it. I did see somebody popping in there. Meanwhile, in the chicken shed, more arrows. We have bow if we have gone home, and we have arrows, so at least we are relatively well armed. Not a lot of health so far for our runners. Oh my, I was speaking of Desert Palace earlier, and in the well, we have a book. So that is what we need to get in. Whether we can do anything other than check one chest, it's hard to know. Finding quite a few rupees. And a moon pearl. One piece of our required set of items to get to the Dark World. Ooh, the bottle vendor has a really bad deal. You have to pay him 100 rupees, and he's giving us a prize of 5. So, not a great investment, but we still have one really bad investment we could potentially make since we've gotten a few really good rupee drops here. All of our runners have several hundred rupees to their names, so we could go and pay a visit to a big fish and see what horrible deal he has for us. Great, now GFE heading into the back of the tavern. I'm gonna get a chance to see what item this was. Nothing. More arrows. So many arrows. So before long, I'm sure all of our runners are going to be having that bow. Full complement of arrows. And hopefully we're going to see a little bit of route divergence, though we don't have anything pointing us in a specific direction. We do have that shovel, which might make people take a little bit of a walk after seeing that there's really nothing in the library and racing game. But after that, the world's our oyster. With that blue pendant, that almost makes you want to pop your head into the Desert Palace finding that book. But we still have a few good locations to check, like the Money Moldorm Cave, which have quite a few items that might potentially lead us elsewhere. Pretty much nobody really wants to head down into the desert area if they can help it. Duke Firebird was opting to kind of do the blind race and not being rewarded, unfortunately, at the end. Aha, so we're digging up a lamp today. That's another piece of our Dark World access if we go through Aghanim. But we still don't have a sword. We need at least a sword and a cape, or 2 swords at this point, so don't have too much worry about that yet. You know, it's a little bit on the back of everyone's mind, though. Here we go. With a little bit of divergence on the right side of the screen, we've got people heading east. But we have GFE going up to take a look at what our uncle has to say. Other runners getting that map check in. Duke Firebird picking up a bow. Also going to go and see our uncle. Meanwhile, in Sahasrala's hut, we have love, love, and a glove. That's not bad. So we're getting pretty close to Dark World access here. We need a hammer. We certainly don't really want to find a cape or anything that sends us in that direction. Just catching up on what the uncle had, I noticed he had a bottle. So that at least allows us to check the sick kid. But No solid progression yet. Probably going to be seeing people heading east, of course, because with the bow and the lamp, we can clear that dungeon out completely in logic. Now, most of these runners would probably be comfortable doing the dark rooms, so even if they haven't picked up that shovel, like I think Chloe Prower has not, having taken that route from the beginning, stopping into the house and kind of walking over to the Kakariko village instead of heading straight down from Lost Woods like everybody else did, in this instance just didn't give them a chance to use that shovel, so it's going to make their traversal of this dungeon just a little bit more annoying. But as far as dark rooms go, this one isn't too bad. There's a couple of fairly easy ones and a really annoying one, but if you've done it a few times, you're probably going to be fine. Meanwhile, we've got a couple of people in the escape. Kind of separated left and right side of the screen here. GFE picking up that nice big full magic drop. Ooh, Kana Samaria. Throwing out a bomb. Taking a death warp. So Kana Samaria is in our logic. Relatively easy to get. Hopefully we're going to see most of our runners heading that way. Ooh, and a hook shot in the back of... Not in the back of Escape. In the front of Escape, I guess you'd call this. The Zelda rescue sequence section. We know there's one more item because we found the map in the bombable area in the sewers. Yeah, that's what we'll call it, the sewers. Duke Firebird setting up for a death warp here. Just $20 in Zelda Cell. Thinking about it. Do we continue? We do. Take a death. Chloe Prower trying to activate that switch without having to kill all the enemies. Unfortunately, just kind of a little bit running out of health. It's pretty hard to do with only 3 hearts. All of our runners still with 3 hearts, I believe. Yep, 3 runners, or 4 runners, 3 hearts each. It's going to make navigating this world a little bit tricky. And just finding a bottle there in the Big Key location, Vanilla Big Key location in Eastern Palace. Dark Cross is only a couple of bombs, which I believe was already checked by one of our other runners, but nice to get confirmation. Duke Firebird having to do a little bit of work to find a key in the darkness there. That rat got a little bit out of its normal position. Going to be picking up a Kana Samaria pretty shortly here. And a nice full magic drop as well. P-Train heading into the Armos Knights fight. See how P-Train does with this setup for the quick kill here. Good start. Oh, got a little bit knocked out of position, but should be able to finish this up pretty quickly here. We just have some bombs. Chloe Prower going for the quick kill. Ooh, nice. Also has some bombs. So P-Train and Chloe Prower, first people to have crystals. GFE heading in. Gonna have a little high five with them on the way out. Duke Firebird checking out what is in the swamp area. Finds a single arrow under the water. Not worth picking that up. It's probably pretty soggy. And heading toward Desert Palace. Maybe doing some checks along the way to see what is on the ledge. P-Train going to be picking up the Canis Maria pretty shortly. Going to be pretty happy about that. Oh, and Chloe Prower as well. So I missed what was on the desert ledge. I was thinking about people getting down and getting their Canis Marias. But as you know, chat, I have you open, and I am keeping an eye on you. Just junk. I'm not terribly surprised. The interesting thing to find out here in Desert Palace is going to be, is it boots locked? Because we do not have an ambrosia seed. We have not gotten a hint about where our boots are going to be. In fact, I do not believe hints are enabled at all. Just some love, so... We're going to need boots to make it anywhere in this castle, but because it's the small key on the torch, we could do a little bit of a sequence break if we want. Not sure if Duke Firebird's going to be doing that. Probably just heading out the back way to see if the old man has anything to say. P-Train seems to be heading in that general direction as well. Going to check out the swamp entrance as well. We are getting an Agena check from Duke Firebird, so it's a bit of an out-of-the-way location. A lot of people will put it off. If there is some value here, then that is a really good play. Meanwhile, Chloe Prower going for quantity. Going to deal with a bunch of little mini Moldorms here. But there are 5 items, 4 chests, and a friendly gentleman. Oh boy. Getting trolled by the Moldorms. That's not terribly surprising overall. So we got a save and quit from our Agena check. Nothing particularly earth-shattering. P-Train also checking Mini Moldorm Cave, while GFE continues heading through Eastern Palace, getting pretty close to the end. All right, what do we have in Mini Moldorm Cave? Love. A sword. It is dangerous to go alone. Another sword. Well. 2 swords, a lamp, and a moon pearl. So we could go fight Aghanim if we really wanted to, but nobody does. We can also head up to Death Mountain. We're probably going to see that play before we see anybody trying to kill Aghanim, I bet. With that hook shot, being able to get across to the other side and up around, we still can't get access to Tower of Hera. But there's definitely some value to be had up there. Meanwhile, GFE trying to get the quick kill in. Looks good. Lovely. So 15 minutes in, 3 of our runners have crystals already. And we've got another out-of-the-way check by a couple of our runners here. Ice Rod Cave. Just arrows. Lots of arrows. Normally, not a great find, but if your only weapon up for the first while is a bow, you don't really mind too much. I mean, I've just said that, and then I realized absolutely every single one of these runners' minds, they want to find progression. They're not practical-minded, just thinking about, I need a few arrows to get by. No, they're fine. We're going to see some fake flippers from Chloe Prower here. If you position yourself right on the edge, where if you jump in the water, you only have to go 1 frame to kind of trigger the screen to change. You can swim before you're technically supposed to, so we're probably going to see similar from P-Train here. Chloe checking the island and just finding $20. Meanwhile, GFE heading up to Death Mountain, going to rescue an old man. We've got a couple of different potential swim routes here. P-Train going to be seeing a hobo. Meanwhile, Chloe Prower going to be going straight to the waterfall ferry. So Waterfall has the second progressive bow, which means we have silver arrows. So we have a fairly rare scenario in which we actually are not going to have a silverless Ganon. Very unlikely any of our runners are going to be fighting Ganon with without silver arrows with that location and this kind of item lineup we've seen so far. Nothing too much with the hobo. Rescuing the old man made us feel good in our hearts, but didn't really provide us with any reason to go on. But we're going to see what is up here before heading across using our handy dandy hook shot. Nothing locked behind the mirror there. Oh, and our big fish giving us a bad deal. As anticipated, we got a $5 from our bottle vendor, and we got a $20 for the 500 rupee payout. So with that hook shot, we get across to East Side Death Mountain. And we have 7 chests here. So of huge potential for value at this point. Everybody looking probably for a hammer, top of mind. But another glove would not be scoffed at. Just getting money and love so far in the bottom couple of chests. P-Train having to take the long walk around for a bad deal. Duke Firebird heading the same way. We have a cape. I think that was just a cape for potential, definitely don't want to find it, progression items. Up in the east side of Death Mountain. Doing a little bomb jump across. Doing a little check here, GFE, of what's on the island. Just a heart piece. And I'm going to do a long, slow walk now. Some people call the walk of shame. But you know what? Sometimes you just gotta do it. Maybe it'll be worth it. Maybe there'll be boots at the end and it'll be a reward. Duke Firebird heading east. Just $20 for all that walking. So not a huge amount of value up there. Not what we really want to see. Just more things kind of gently pointing us toward fighting Aghanim. That may be what P-Train is going to go and do right now. Checking escape first. With this routing, you can check escape and then fairly quickly, when you realize there's nothing going on, set yourself up for a death warp. Unless you've found a fairy. That can throw your plans off real fast. And GFE trying to clip through to get that chest with the hook shot and just missing it. I think it's a fairly tight kind of window to get it. Gets it the second time. Just for some bombs, unfortunately. P-Train now on the hookshot train. Chloe Prower is doing a good deed for an old man in need. A slow old man. So P-Train saves and quits. Thinking about where else they can go that is not Aghanim. The answer for them, probably Death Mountain. All of our runners kind of retracing each other's steps now, getting a little bit funneled by the logic of this seed. And unfortunately, it looks like that funnel is Aghanim. Nobody wants to do Aghanim. I think more people would want to do Aghanim if there was any chests along the way. So I guess there's a little bit more value in key sanity, especially if you happen to find those tower keys. But also Aghanim's just a long, slow fight that has a random number of balls. And if you don't want to get behind everybody else who managed to avoid doing Aghanim, you do not want to add that several minute climb and fight onto your runtime. But it looks like we are getting slowly but surely kind of herded in that direction. Aha! We have some people pointing out that we do have Mirror. I missed Mirror. Where did we find it? Was it up in the No, can't have been. Too many things going on. So with a mirror, we do have access to Hera. Oh, it wasn't Paradoxscape. You know, there's one chest I missed, and I was like, what's the likelihood that I missed something useful? Fairly high likelihood, apparently. So, Tower of Hera, definitely something people are likely to do before doing Aghanim, although climbing up Death Mountain to get to it is not exactly a short proposition. Faster than fighting Aghanim, though. And it is a crystal, so it's not a total fool's errand. Unlike that book, which was a bit of a red herring. It's difficult to know sometimes what is a breadcrumb and what is a red herring. Ooh, ether tablet. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Red Armor, one of our trackers. Definitely on top of things tonight. Here's Duke Firebird going into the Armos fight. Going with the Silvers. Oh, now here's a breath of fresh air. After watching everybody else doing that quick kill setup, and Duke Firebird just gets to go on easy mode. Very nicely done. So GFE, going to make a deal. P-Train, on the mountain, with a mirror. Chloe Prower, heading up that way. So likely Chloe Prower going to be the first one popping into Tower of Hera. So we need progression in Tower of Hera. If we do not, the Vice tightens around Aghanim. GFE getting a little kiss from the old man for luck and a health refill. Yes, Chloe Prower still has the whole east side to finish. So, in fact, GFE looks to be on track to get into Tower of Hera first. Though, probably going to check that tablet first. Interested to see if there's anything there. We had a seed earlier this week where there was progression on both tablets, which was kind of fun. Now, with Chloe Prower, I finally managed to watch somebody get that mirror. All right, what do we have on our tablet? Just some money. We are not hurting for cash in this seed. Everybody would prefer some Dark World access, I think. If they could buy it, they would. So our first item is a piece of heart in Tower of Hera. Not what we want to see for an item. Not feeling too good. This has got to be a small key or a big key. We got our big key. P-Train setting up for the clip that allows you to get into that fairy fountain. You need the hookshot to do it, so that is something that is possible to get shown off here. Oh, it's tough setup. If you don't get it the first time, you might as well just go ahead and climb. But this is a great place. These races are great places to practice your setups for fun stuff. And our last item is going to be, I believe, either on the boss or in the basement. I don't know if the logic prevents you from getting a basement key, or if prevents the basement key from being locked in the basement. I don't think that that's a thing. I'm pretty sure we could wind up getting a key that takes us into the basement, or we could get an item and just never have to see the basement. Okay, it can self-lock. I like when they can self-lock. It just seems like a nice, tidy solution to the problem somehow. GFE heading into the fight with the big Moldorm. Getting some nice spins in. Getting charged at a little bit. Oh, and getting knocked off the edge. So P-Train's going to have the first crack at maybe getting this done. P-Train taking down the Moldorm. Getting the small key for an item. Got the lamp ready. We are going to see some tiles. We'll see if GFE decides the same thing. Do you risk potentially leaving behind something that doesn't let you, that doesn't make you go and do Aghanim? Because in all likelihood, it's not our progression, but it could be. Yes. GFE heading back in. Duke Firebird heading toward Tower of Hera. Chloe Prower climbing up the tower. Getting chased by a fireball a little bit. Dark World map check. So that was green pendant in the Palace of Darkness, and red pendant in Turtle Rock. Pendant Turtle Rock, always fun. GFE getting glitched out and getting a bit of a break. P-Train, unfortunately, has gotten locked on the other side of the blue tiles and has to fight it out, but does it without too much issue. So what do we have in the basement? What's in the box? A bottle. That feels like a troll. Well, we do have a sick kid that we have a minimum of 3 different bottle locations that we can check. So maybe progression is with our sick child. Seems like that's what P-Train is banking on, hoping for, crossing fingers. While Chloe heads into the boss fight, hoping to see an item and gonna see instead disappointment. P-Train closing in. Does he have the progression? Does he have a hammer or a glove? That's another bottle. Oh no! That's just mean at this point. Well, I think we've been funneled into it. I can't think of another place that we have to check. P-Train can think of one place at least. GFE getting some health. Heading down as well. These guys heading toward the Desert Palace area. Have not ventured over there yet. Have not learned that it is an errand for fools. Duke Firebird making nice work of Moldorm. P-Train probably expecting to find something here to break it open. Well, possibly literally with bombs, but not in the metaphorical sense. High-fiving GFE here. And Duke Firebird, the last of our runners, to contend with the tiles for yet another troll slash red herring. Sick kid giving out his meds. I like that. Some red goo. Really should just drink that himself, then he can become the hero of Hyrule. So we're going to get our peek into Desert Palace from our runners on the bottom of the screen here. Both of them going to find out that it is locked by the boots. Interesting to see if we get that sequence break using the key from the kind of later part of the dungeon to check what is in the right side. Got almost synced saving quits there from Chloe Prower and P-Train. Both realizing they just have to take their medicine and go fight Aghanim. We'll see if GFE nopes out here as well. Continues. Thinks about it. Thinks about it. Yeah, let's get out of here. And all of our runners now heading up to Aghanim. Heading up the tower. We have gone to so many different places and we have all been brought back together by this funnely seed, this Aghanim required seed. So Chloe Prower with P-Train right on his heels. All of our runners have silver arrows and master swords, so we should be making fairly quick work of this climb. A fair amount of hearts. No mail upgrades yet. P-Train getting caught up in the guards just a little bit there. Chloe Prower and P-Train really neck and neck here on the way up. All of our runners in dark rooms at the same time. Wow, the sync on the right side of the screen is great. Even with the misses. Oh, door gave a little bit more lag there, it seemed, to Chloe Prower. So one nice thing about this randomizer is the seed locks in the amount of blue balls that one can have. So all of our runners are going to have the same amount, the same number of blue balls. So it's not a possibility of somebody getting really good RNG and just breezing through. Everyone is going to have the same long fight. So how many bets? How many blue balls? I believe the minimum is, what, 2? Maximum, what, 15, I think? So many. Min is 0. You can actually get 0? I guess you can. Yeah, the only ones that are guaranteed is the first one of every cycle is guaranteed to be a good shot. And here we are. We're going to have all 4 of our runners fighting Aghanim at the same time. So, there's 1 set of blue balls. 2. 3. Ugh. Exactly what you don't want to see. Here's our guaranteed good shot. Oh, we're not getting max blue balls. Is all we can ask. Second round here so far for P-Train and Chloe Prower has been a lot more generous than the first one. Just 1 set of blue balls, so we're at 4 now. And we had a total of 4. We had a few guesses for 4. Yeah, Wolfman and Shinstrider X. Good job. So we have our Dark World access. Long fought. What do we have on the pyramid ledge? Just some money. We are not hurting for money in this seed. All of our runners have been to visit the big fish and still have about 700 rupees to their name, so we are not worrying about that. Once again, pretty much sync on the the left side of the screen this time. P-Train heading straight up. Chloe Prower heading across the water. So we're going to see a check of the catfish here. I kind of like this. Meanwhile, Chloe Prower going to be doing the check of the ledge here. Does not have the boots, so we can't check what is in King's Tomb. And we've got a couple more catfish checks going on from GFE and Duke Firebird. What does the fish have for us today? Powder? All right. Nice place to get it. Seems somehow thematically appropriate, like maybe the witches made it for him. So, not exactly the progression they wanted, but it is a bit of a potential. Unfortunately, requires for them to get all the way over to Village of Outcasts, but they're going to be heading over that way anyway. With the mirror, they can actually check the bat, so it could be progression. Also, with our mirror and our book, I hope we see a pedestal check. So far, we haven't seen any medallions, so a medallion on the pedestal could potentially be something that we need if we need to get into Misery Mire, which I believe, definitely do. We don't know if we need to get into Turtle Rock yet. Hopefully, we do not. So most of our runners finding out the ledge of the graveyard does not have a lot of value. Chloe Prower heading straight to kind of the back part of the Skull Woods area to get a small key. We do not have the fire rod. No rods yet. So we can't go any further than that. But we do have a few more chests that we can check here. Meanwhile, Duke Firebird going in the opposite direction, heading to the Palace of Darkness, which is the green pendant. Now we have the bow, which means we can't be bow locked, but we don't have the hammer, so we can't complete it. Skullwoods there, Chloe Prower finding one of the two items, just some money. And other than that, has a key, can check this last room without worrying about getting locked in. So Duke Firebird found a small key in Palace of Darkness. So not completely bow locked. Chloe Prower trying to get a bomb jump across here. Easy to fall in that hole. A little slippery around the edges. But gets it done. Oh no, gets trolled by the mold worms. The pain. Not too far to come back. Oh, we got a fairy actually. Kind of hate to use a fairy for that, but you know what? What are fairies for but to be used? And just finding a small key, so our other item is going to be locked behind the fire rod. Duke Firebird going to check these chests that you need the bow to get. Just finding a compass in one of them. And a small key, not terribly surprising. Meanwhile, we've got some Village of Outcasts scouting by Chloe Prower. I'm going to check the sea house here. Finds a mushroom, which again could be progression if we want to take it back to our witch friends, but don't think anybody's going to be heading over there too quickly. We have a lot of other things that we can do around here, including we can do a lot of Thieves Town, which is where Chloe is now. Finds the big key right off the bat, while Duke Firebird continues working on the front part of Palace of Darkness here. Finds a red boomerang, not exactly what kind of item Chloe was looking for. Ooh, the hammer in Palace of Darkness. That is just kind of mean, but also kind of makes you want to do a little bit more of it. Well, it's a little bit hard to say. Not terribly surprising to find it there. That is a location that is readily accessible once you have killed Aghanim. We had a pedestal check there from GFE. 10 shots with your bow. Once again, 10 arrows. We have found a lot of arrows. So Duke Firebird heading into the back, where the party is, as people sometimes say, of Palace of Darkness. Chloe Prower making good use of the hook shot and its stun capabilities. We have a heart as a stun prize, which is nice. I'm not sure if that has changed in the prize pack change of this update, whether the stun prize has been affected by that, but seems to be heart, which would be nice. Good help to get through the gauntlet later on. Duke Firebird not finding a lot more value yet, but we still have a dark maze to go through. While Chloe Prower deals with these things. Oh, that was a rod of some kind. It's a little bit difficult to see the color of that rod on the stream. Hopefully our tracker was able to figure it out. Hopefully it was a fire rod, but yeah, looks like it's being tracked as a fire rod, so I'm just going to go with that. So pretty good value in Palace of Darkness here, and with it being the green pendant and having the mirror and all the items we need to get through it, feels like a good idea to do what Duke Firebird's doing and clear it out. You can get your item from Sahasrahla. Still have quite a few things we need before we can get into go mode. Because we've only just gotten into the Palace of Darkness in the last 7 minutes or so, we don't really have a full lay of the land yet as to what's going to be stymieing us going forward. We still need to find some flippers, for instance, so we can get into Swamp Palace. Need to find another glove. Need to find at least one medallion. So Duke Firebird taking a little break. This cutscene, while Chloe Prower takes Blind all the way into the light. Get our pun or joke. Bit of a vegetarian kind of humor there. Very good. Chloe Prower making short work of Blind. Blind just seems to have some money. GFE going to be doing some digging for us. A lot of digs so far. Maximum of 30 digs. And we're getting through the majority of them. While Duke Firebird works on the Helmasaur King, GFE just finds a piece of heart. Chloe Prower doing a little bit more investigation in the village of outcasts. Duke Firebird makes quick work of Helmasaur King. Ooh, gets a sword, tempered sword for his trouble. Not a horrible prize. Not the progression we maybe want, but also with tempered sword and silvers, we are going to have an easy Ganon fight. And there are flippers in cave, I believe people call it cave 45 or 54. 45, I think. The ledge by the Sacred Grove. So there's our flippers. So we can now, if we have the hammer, which we need to go to Palace of Darkness to get, the Swamp Palace is open to us. P-Train also making quick work of Blind. And our Sahasrahla item, just a heart. So, not seeming to be worth it to go all the way through, especially since we know it is not a pedestal seed. We got our Aghanim seed, so we got all the trolls that we could want. GFE taking a frog for a walk. Needs to use the mirror. Oh, hang on a second. Hang on a second. Where did GFE get a pair of Titan's mitts? Who gave him those? Who said he was allowed to have those? Got him off Stumpy. Haha! Doing little checks around and got some nice gloves off of Stumpy. Well, definitely makes it easier to get this whole string of checks, which people often call the Smith chain, done, especially since we can get in and see if that powder happened to be anything. I would love for there to be something that is hidden behind a fetch quest after going to see our friend the catfish. So what do you have for us, Bat? A flute! Actually, that is required because we need to do mire. So, catfish for powder for using the mirror to get at the bat to get the flute is required. So that's great. So we can go and activate that flute right now. with our purple chest friend. Meanwhile, Chloe Prower kind of going in a different direction here. Gonna see what's on the other tablet. Just some bombs. All right. So GFE activating our friend. P-Train getting a nice glove upgrade. Just waiting for that flute to get activated, and then we can take a quick hop over. Trade in our purple chest. And we're going to see a hype cave check here from Chloe Prower. Oh, just more arrows in that chest. My goodness. So many arrows. All right, so hype cave, what do we have? We have blue mail. Money. Money. Half magic. And money. Give that a solid 5. It's some items that are nice to have. Blue mail and half magic basically mean Ganon's Tower gonna be no problem, I think, for these runners. They can kind of relax a little bit, but now it's just, where is my progression? GFE, filling some bottles with blue goo. That is exactly what you want to do if you have a ton of money. Just give yourself all the blue goo. Duke Firebird in the Skullwood area now because they took that jump over to Desert or Palace of Darkness. They have the hammer, they got the fire rod. Chloe Prower wants to use this glove in some more fun ways, so we're going to do a little bit of investigation in Dark Death Mountain here. So, GFE, checking the Meyer shed and just finding money. Duke Firebird showing us how to use the fire rod in case we forgot. Oh, one missed shot there. Hopefully will not come back to haunt him. GFE gonna see what's in Checkerboard Cave. Just more money. Meanwhile, the Super Bunny Cave loving money. So here's Duke Firebird going into the fight with Mothula here. Oh my goodness, it looks like I have a friend in the booth with me. Who could it be?
Hey, buddy. Sorry I'm late.
No worries, you're coming in at a good time. Duke Firebird just killed Mothula. Everybody's in different parts of the world. So how you doing? This is Glacial, everybody.
I had a bit of a family emergency come up right as casting was set to start, and it just everything's fine. But that's my explanation.
Oh no.
Other than that, I mean, it's not bad.
Well, I'm glad to have you here. Thanks for joining. Oh my goodness, this has been an interesting seed so far. Everybody was funneled into having no choice but to fight Aghanim 1, so everybody did it at the same time.
I can see that.
So that was fun. But yeah, now everybody has Dark World access. Everybody's running around. Everybody's in different witcha ways.
It looks like it. So let me see if I can get caught up here. It looks like we found bows and silvers for everybody.
Yep, bow was in our house, and then silvers were in the waterfall fairy chests.
That is the easiest silver I think I've ever heard of.
Right?
I am so jealous. I want that in one of my seeds next time.
I know, it's almost maddening.
So let's see. Looks like it. So it looks like nobody's made it to a couple different dungeons. I'm seeing Ice Palace, Misery Mire, Desert, and Swamp are all still uncleared by everybody. Has anybody been able to dip any of those?
No, we only just got our flippers, and so flippers were in Cave 45, and the Titan mitts were on Stumpy. So basically, we got access to both of those right then.
Okay,
Only just did those.
So I've not missed too much then. It looks like everybody's just come out of Aga.
Yeah,
more or
everybody
less.
full cleared the light world essentially, and then did Aga, and then now they're just kind of going whatever places they can. The big standout is Duke Firebird went to Palace of Darkness, and nobody else has gone there yet. Palace of Darkness has the hammer and the fire rod.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
All right. Man, it never occurred to me how much info there is to get caught up on if you come into one of these races mid run.
Right? It's kind of fun though, because it's giving me an opportunity to kind of, make sure that I internalize what has happened so far. And I missed some stuff. Like people were like, "Oh yeah, they found the mirror," and I was like, "Wait, what? When? When did that happen?"
I mean, I couldn't tell you.
Well, I finally saw it happen. It was in the east side of Light Death Mountain,
Okay. That
in
makes
the
sense.
the room with the many mold arms and the 5 chests. So we also found a book in there which sent a few people on a fool's errand to visit Desert Palace, but it is boots locked and it's also a pendant. So everybody kind of noped out of that real quick after going, "Well, I walked all the way over here for nothing. Thanks."
100% not surprised by that.
Yeah.
I'm assuming, based on the fact that we just found the book, that nobody has been back around to check pedestal.
No, we have had a pedestal check. Book was found relatively early, I guess, in the grand scheme of things. So we did have a pedestal check. It is just more arrows. We found so many 10 arrow bundles. It's like it knew that we were going to find both of the bow upgrades and was like, "Here, have some arrows."
There's a couple of things I have never actually seen, despite how many of these races I watch. Pedestal Seat is not one of them, but I have literally never seen a double dip Ganon's Tower.
I saw that in a Key Sanity, but I think it's more liable to happen in a Key Sanity.
Yeah, I think so too. The only thing I could think of that was like something that makes sense for a double dip Ganon's Tower is if the if the key is on the torch and boots are locked behind an item in Ganon's Tower. That's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah, I've seen that, I think. Duke Firebird just showed off one of my favorite bits so far. So we need to go to Catfish to get the powder, and then we need to use the mirror to get into the bat to find out that the powder gives us the flute, which gets us to Meyer and, does all that stuff.
Okay. I've heard of worse ways to get the flute. I've had a couple of worse ways to get the flute.
Right? But I like that. It's a nice little chain of events. We also found in the Village of Outcasts, we found the mushroom, which makes it feel like we kind of want to cross all the way back over. Nobody's turned that in yet, so we don't know if the mushroom's anything. Could be.
Very well could be. I think my favorite thing that I've seen so far just happened. Sick Kid gives a bottle.
Yes. In fact, we found, I think, all 4 bottle locations. And yeah, we had a bunch of bottles. People finally went to Sick Kid as one of the last viable locations before going to Aghanim. And to get another bottle from Sick Kid at that point was just funny.
It's funny. It might also be just a tiny bit insulting.
Yes. It felt very trolly.
Such disrespect.
I know. But most of our runners have found, so everybody has Master Sword at least. Duke Firebird has Temperate Sword because that was the reward for doing all of Palace of Darkness all the way through to the end. Got a sword from Helmasaur King. So it was a fool's errand, but also they're going to have a real easy time in Ganon no matter what.
Yeah, absolutely. Did he check Green Pendant?
Yeah, it's just a heart from Sahasrara.
I mean, the old man, you gotta give him credit. He tries. He just never has anything good to give.
He was just like, "Take my love," and it's like, okay, but like, you could have just, I don't know, you could have just said, "I love you" on a tablet, and I wouldn't have read it, but I would have felt it somehow.
Yeah. Meanwhile, GFE went into Swamp Palace, which I think you said was the first time somebody's done that, and he has straight out of there because I assume because he's missing the.
Yes, that would be a reason to know about. Only a couple of our runners have the hammer so far. Oh, in fact, as I said, that P-Train got it. So GFE has only one place to go, and it's going to be the place that's going to get the hammer. So at least that's going to be a mystery solved.
Yeah, he's probably not going to be super happy about it because he definitely would have liked to have found it before he went in there. But
Yeah.
at this point, it's like, at least you've got.
Yeah, I think Duke Firebird's in a good position here to kind of really get through a bunch of dungeons fairly quickly. We haven't found any medallions yet, which we need at least one of to do Misery Mire. I did not see what the Misery. I'm sure somebody checked. I didn't see what it was to get into Misery Mire. Hey, chat. Anybody notice? Did we check Misery Mire medallion?
It wouldn't surprise me if nobody's checked it yet. With Desert being a pinned in, there's not really a whole ton of reason to go over there. You can get the Mire Shed and Checkerboard Cave, but other than that...
Yeah, they did check those things, but, like, why wouldn't you, like, peek at what the...
Oh, at that point, yeah, definitely yeah. Somebody will look.
So somebody has done that, so I assume that means... Chat saying we all missed it. Oh, oh well, it's fine.
These runners flash it on screen for like 3 frames and then go, oh yeah, no, I absolutely just saw what that was. How come you didn't?
Yeah, I honestly, that's the main reason that I have the stream open twice, once for our restream and once the broadcast stream, just because sometimes you see a couple more pixels of clarity on that helps you in those moments of like the flash check. But P-Train with the hammer is going to be able to do a little bit more work here in the swampy palace.
Yeah, the other reason to have the second window open, of course, is so that we can interact with chat. Hi, chat.
Yeah. Hey, how you doing, chat? Chat's been helpful to me in my times of just not being able to look at 4 streams at once and having a small attention span.
Well, sorry. No.
It's okay. It was kind of fun. But it is nice to have somebody to talk to that is not just me.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, talking to yourself gets a little old after a little while.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I do enough of it in my normal life.
Oh, so do I. It's all the time. My mom tells me that I need to stop, like, every time I see her, which is less and less these days. But she's like, people are going to think you're crazy. And I'm like, I am crazy.
Yeah. If you wanted me to talk to somebody else, then I guess you'd have to talk to me more, Mom. Nobody wants to do that.
Exactly.
So I think this is the first time Duke Firebird here checking Thieves Town with the hammer. Actually getting to see the 5 rupees that are hiding in that chest.
Oh, that's insulting.
That's very mean. So, of course, that's going to be weighing on people's minds if they start having trouble finding the last item, right?
Yeah, definitely. It's not uncommon to leave that one if you can do everything else.
Mm-hmm.
But you just know in the back of your mind, I can't find the boots, or I can't find whatever it is I'm looking for. Maybe it was in that chest I skipped. And if it is...
What if it is?
I'm just in so much trouble.
Mm-hmm. Chloe Prower downing the moth, and Duke Firebird finishing off here shortly with blind. Just getting $50 for his trouble. P-Train doing the left side of swamp.
Yeah, I don't hate this decision, but I'm crazy and actually think left side swamp is something that's worth doing more often than most people do.
I mean, the problem is we still have a few things that we need to get anywhere in this seed. We definitely need that one of the medallions, mystery medallion. We hope we don't need the ice rod, but if we do, we certainly don't want to have to go all the way back into left side swamp to get it. Yeah, so we've got some stuff that we need to get before we can finish. We would love to find some boots. If boots were back here, it wouldn't even matter if they weren't like a required item. People would think it was worth it, I think.
Oh, absolutely. But in this case, yeah. I was going to say it is a required item, and then I remembered, oh wait, it was a pendant. Never mind.
Yep, it probably isn't a required item.
Oh, there's the ice rod.
Hey! Look at that! I called it, literally.
Very much so, yes.
Oh, and
And
Quake.
there's a medallion.
So both of the things that it's sort of like, well, maybe we'll need it are here.
Exactly. I mean, there's a better than average chance that we're not going to need either of them. But kind of having the idea that you've got it, it's got to be at least a little bit of a relief to go, okay, now I finally have at least a medallion.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes Turtle Rock has just value. That's just what Turtle Rock is like. So maybe it's got the one thing that we need. Maybe it's got another medallion in it that gets us into Mire. That would be dumb.
Oh, I hope that's the case. I thought that a little earlier. I so hope that's the case. Quake to get into Mire to find Bombos or Ether on the boss. Actually, let's forget Laser Bridge. Put it on the boss. Why not?
Yeah. Why not? Trinex for the win.
Duke Firebird just picked up the flippers.
All of our runners now ready to do some swimming.
Yep, and it looks like he's going to head up to Stumpy, which I believe you said was the second mix.
It is indeed. So it's big 1-2 punch here in this area, which is kind of nice.
Absolutely. It's even a 1-2-3 punch if they haven't checked the dig spot yet, but I think they have. You said they cleared light whirl.
Yeah, they really cleared it out. The shovel was one of the only items we got at Kakariko. It was just money other than that. So, yeah, people went and dug that spot up right away thinking, oh man, this has got to be progression. And nope, it was just nothing.
Ouch.
Oh, you know what? It wasn't nothing. It was a lamp. There you go.
Oh yeah, okay,
Yeah.
that's kind of useful. I mean,
yeah. They needed it for Tower of Hera, which of course, now if they didn't need it for Tower of Hera. They probably thought that they did, but then there was an item left in the basement at the end, and everybody went back in and got it, and it was junk. So it was one of those.
I'm so sorry I missed the beginning of this scene. I would have had such a delight with.
There was a lot of just little digs like that.
Every time I'm not playing one of these, I hope that the seed is as trolly as can possibly be. I wish for crazy things.
You're so mean.
I am. I come up with crazy ways to I think because occasionally I forget something really obvious like X dungeon needs Y item, but I think I've come up with a way to force a triple dip of Ganon's tower.
Ooh, wow, that's just mean. You're right.
Yeah.
Seen the hammer pegs. I don't know if I've seen the hammer pegs yet, because nobody else had them when they came over here. So we'll see what's in there. Just money.
It seems like that's all the time. Oh, is Mire Quake? Somebody saying Mire is Quake.
Aha. Yeah, it's been marked on the trackers. All right, well, we have Quake, so I guess... Well, okay. Sorry, P-Train has Quake. Let's be specific here.
I forgot we're supposed to be commentating a race. I was having so much fun talking with you.
Just hanging out,
totally
it's fine.
Everything.
Yeah. Oh, we're seeing GFE going into Ice Palace. They just finished up. They actually went through and completed Palace of Darkness. So they have the Fire Rod. They have the Tempered Sword. So yeah, Ice Palace is not a bad play right now. And P-Train has I call this a 5 hype cave. It had a blue mail and it had half magic. So it's had some nice stuff, but no progression.
Yeah, it's all optional, but it's stuff that if it was presented to you, you wouldn't say no.
Dang right.
All right, P-Chain's actually heading up to Mire now, and he does have the Quake. So,
correct me if I'm wrong. We can finish Swamp Palace. We can finish Ice Palace. We can finish Misery Mire. Are we in Go mode now?
I didn't even notice. Let me think.
Is any one runner in Go mode? Because I don't think P-Train has the... Okay, P-Train must have the Fire Rod. Well, unless they noped out of Palace of Darkness before getting it. That would be bad.
That would be very bad. P-Train is the only person who has Quake to get into Mire and doesn't have Fire, so nobody is in Go mode at this point, for sure.
Yeah, that is very bad if P-Train noped out and did not get the fire rod, that could be a very feels bad.
It would be even worse, I think, if P-Train manages to find Bombos in the mire.
Mm.
Because then it'll be like, oh, it's going to be Fire Rod in Ice Palace. That's rude. Let's go get it.
Yep.
We'll get like a full clear Ice Palace. Because at this point, this late into the run, if neither of them have showed up, it almost always feels like one of them is in Ice Palace.
Mm-hmm. So P-Train finally checking a chest in mire here. The key. GFE in Ice Palace. The other two still swamping around.
It looks like Chloe Power also did left side swamp because we've got Quake over there as well.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Quake and the hopefully useless Ice Rod. Looking to be useless at this point.
Yeah, very much so. Again, unless it's a Ganon Tower double dip with the key on the torch.
Yes, if the boots are on like Trinex, for instance.
Just as an example, no reason.
Just as a, just throwing that out there into the universe. So P-Train has a couple of small keys here. Gets a big key out of the chest past the fire.
So at this point, if you've not found either item in Misery Mire, but you found the big key and you're in that room, what do you want to do less? Do you want to check the big key less, or do you want to do the cutscene room less? Because both of them feel awful.
Yes, I personally, I just do the cutscene, but I'm also not very good at this game. So, take from that what you will.
I am right there with you in terms of not being particularly good.
I don't know. What's fun about this is it's a fun game to play even if you're not very good. So take that to heart, folks who are watching who think, I could never play with these runners. I mean, maybe you can't contend with them, but you can race in the same race as them and give them GGs in chat when they finish half an hour before you do.
Is that a butter sword I see on GFE? Because it looks like he might have found the 4th sword drop.
Oh boy. Okay, must have happened in one of the Ice Palace chests that I missed there, kind of doing the big the big underground section there. It's all underground. What am I talking about?
Apparently it was in the double Freezor room. Yeah, I didn't see him pick it up, but I did see him swinging it around.
Yep. Well, we are very well equipped in this seed. We've got a lot of safety. We've got a lot of nice items. But now it's just a matter of everybody kind of, getting all the pieces together. GFE's in pretty good shape. Still needs that Quake. Probably going to find that as soon as they actually get into Swamp Palace. And Duke Firebird is on track here to get Quake as well. So we're doing okay. It's just, that fire rod scares me. Oh, P-Train.
Yeah, that's my concern right now too. P-Train needs to find that fire rod because everybody else is looking like they're not very far away at all from having everything they need.
Mm-hmm. Chloe Prower has a nice pink bomb here. Getting to do the kind of easy strat. GFE, of course, I blinked and I missed the fight with Cold Stare because
Always.
Butter
But
Sword.
hold on 1 second. So it looks like at a time of 1 hour and 15 minutes and I think 43-ish seconds, I think Duke Firebird is officially in go mode.
Hey, I like it.
Yep, barring, of course, as I've mentioned, the Ganon's Tower torch. Troll,
Yes.
Which I so am hoping for. Please give it to me.
Now, even if it is that troll, there is a possibility that it is it could be in Turtle Rock, but not on Trinex. But Trinex would be pretty great because we've got a whole ice rod. Why not use it?
96% mode.
Yeah. P-Train finishing up with the eyeballs with silver arrows. That's just fun.
It's easy. I think that's my favorite part about Silver Arrows is the Vitreous fight just becomes well. This was a joke.
Yeah, so many of the things in this game that can be like, oh, this. It's like, nope, it is easy, easy mode.
I don't know if P-Train is psychic or if he's just out of places to look, but it looks like P-Train's heading back to Pod.
I like it. I'm glad. I don't know what caused P-Train to go that way, but I fully approve.
Well, he can't get into Ice Palace.
Mm-hmm.
I think you said Desert Palace was boots locked,
Yep.
so couldn't go Desert Palace. He's probably cleared the front of Skullwoods, I would assume.
Yeah,
I don't think he was here for that. And he can't get to the back without the fire rod, so I think this is process of elimination.
Yep. Doesn't feel good, I'm sure. Having to walk all the way back here and go, could I have just gone a little further into this dungeon, I guess?
No, it never feels good if you have to double dip something. You start thinking to yourself, okay, how far behind am I? I've got to be behind at this point, especially if you didn't bite the Aghanim bullet. Part of you is almost like, okay, well, at least one other runner must have seen an Aga play early and did it. And so at that point, the question just becomes, how far behind am I?
Ooh. Duke Firebird, a little low on health here, but gets it done. Oh, and GFE killing him off almost the exact same time.
Simultaneous explosions!
So much lag, unable to open any menu. So Chloe Prower heading through Ice Palace now.
What's Chloe missing for Go mode at this point? Anything?
I think Chloe is also in
Flute.
Yes, that's right. I was looking
Chloe
for the powder. No powder. Needs to make that catfish play. That's probably going to elude them for a little bit.
Catfish is just so out of the way. Does anybody like to check catfish?
No. I like actually talking to the fish. It's fun throwing the thing in the pond. That's cool.
Yeah, that's fair.
One of those things where it's like I don't want to have to do it, but it's also kind of fun.
What is Duke Firebird still looking for?
Duke Firebird. Not much.
Yeah, he just ducked into the Meyer shed, and it's an interesting decision for me. I mean, if you've got everything that you, as far as you know, need to complete the game, with the off chance that you might 1% need the boots.
Yeah, especially since we have Silvers and Tempered Sword, it's not like you're looking for that like quick check that will save you a whole ton of time on Ganon.
There we go. P-Train just pulled out the fire rod.
All right, P-Train in the mode of going.
1 hour, 20 minutes, and 20 seconds, I believe. Yeah, P-Train's definitely not pleased with himself for dipping out of pod so early.
It does not feel great, but you know what? You got it done. You found what you needed. You're on the track now. There's only one thing you can do, and that's just try to shake it off and execute as well as you can.
Yeah, chat points out that somebody suggested Duke Firebird might not actually recognize that he's in Go mode. That's pretty unlikely. But you know, everybody has an off day. But somebody else pointed out he skipped Hype Cave, so he probably knows exactly what he's doing. The most likely suggestion was that he was just looking for the miracle boots, and I kind of don't fault him for that. Some of these dungeons are not hard but annoying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Chloe Prower I'm noticing as well. Yeah, so that's right. Chloe Prower is the one that needs to get the powder. Needs to get the powder to the Prower.
Yep, catfish to magic bat to flute.
Yep, two. Just doing things.
Which is so rude because that's like the most obscure 2 places I can think of in a chain.
Mm-hmm. Which, if you happen to just, decide to grab catfish on the way by because you had done everything else in that region and you knew if you did that, you'd never have to come back up to that corner in Light or Dark World, except for, of course, everybody found the mushroom, so it could have been something there. We know now there is nothing in the mushroom.
Did somebody check the mushroom?
Nah, nobody's checked it.
Could be Boots or Bombos or something.
Yeah, and if it's Boots and Boots are required to get into Ganon's tower, then that's hilarious.
That's going to be an absolute delight. Oh, apparently somebody said it, which has a heart container. So somebody did check it.
Alrighty. So that's one Boots thing off the table, but our pet theory that they're on Trinex is still 100% viable, especially if you go up there and you see that it's Quake to get into Turtle Rock or something. That's bad.
Well, at least know that, but it's very much unlikely that we're gonna ever know where the Boots ended up this season. Yeah. That kind of makes me sad.
Yeah, it was a little bit melancholy. Meanwhile, Chloe Prower and P-Train are finishing up. They finished up their respective dungeons in the ice and fire kind of regions, and GFE is just beating up a blind evil monster. There we go.
I know that it's technically the easiest boss in the game because it's completely scripted. I have so much trouble with blind some days. Absolutely no reason.
I've never learned the script. I don't know why, because I should. It's something that I should invest my time in, but if you get a little bit off, it can throw you. If you get off the script and you're normally used to doing the script, it can be a bad time.
Yeah. Mostly for me, it's just I really don't want to do Thieves Town. I know it's what's next, but can I get the blue cane, please?
Can I have a little bit of invincibility as a treat?
No, Chloe, don't turn it in. Hold on to it. Use it for fake powder glitch.
Well, but they're already going to check the catfish here with
that's fair.
With the mirror, so they're going to get it.
Yeah, I have no doubts on that regard.
There we go, and here's their eyeball fight again. Stabby eyeballs. It's like a point-and-click adventure game here.
It's just so cheating at this point.
My favorite thing is the 2 arrows to kill the big eyeball. That's it. Is it 2 or 1? Either way, got it done. Got another crystal.
It's 2 arrows. I think I don't remember if this is accurate or not, but I think I heard somewhere that silvers do like 30 points of health and victories has like 32 health.
Yeah. So you could just like hit it with your sword once and then do an arrow probably.
Take note, I'm possibly way off in that regard. I make no promises anything I just said is accurate.
GFE getting a big pink bomb. While Duke Firebird heading into Ice Palace, the last palace that they need to do. Chloe Prower just needs to do Misery Mire. P-Train is on the ice train. I did not see. Did Chloe Prower not get the powder from Catfish?
I hope she did. I also missed it. Like, she was there and she was standing in front of Catfish. If she didn't get the powder from Catfish,
must have gotten the powder.
Yeah, it's like completely inexplicable why she wouldn't have.
P-Train fighting Cold Stare, getting a really good start off. They're getting a little separated now, but got a lot of damage in. with that fight.
Gold Silver is deceptively hard.
Yeah, and very the hitbox feels a little bit big and squishy, which makes sense because they're big and squishy looking. But you can get hit and take a lot of damage real fast.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, it is the third to last dungeon, so that kind of makes sense. But it does a surprising amount of damage for new players. I remember dying to that thing so many times.
Yes, and then you're just sitting there like, wait, I had all of my health like a second ago.
Yeah, it's like, oh, where did all my health go?
Yep. Well, look who's heading up Death Mountain, P-Train. So we're heading toward Ganon's Tower here. Do you want to talk about what we're going to do when we get there?
Is it the game?
I think it's the game.
You want to introduce it or should I?
Go for it.
All right, let's give this a shot then. I've actually never done this before.
Ooh, have fun.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls in the chat section, there are 22 different locations in which the Ganon's Tower Big Key could be located. And numbers have already started. You guys didn't even give me a chance.
Luckily, she'll say the thing.
No, it's fine. Chloe Power's getting the flute, so Chloe's now officially in Go mode as well.
Hey, awesome.
Yep. Of the 22 locations, please pick your number, and if you guess the proper location, you will win all of my love and affection, of which I have none. My heart is black and dead.
And you'll win exactly 25% of mine.
Who has the other? Oh, it's so Turtle Rock is Ether.
Ha. Okay, good. Now here's where it would be fun. If we find Ether, boots are on the torch, and then we find Ether in Turtle Rock, or not Turtle Rock, sorry, in Ganon's Tower.
Yeah, that would definitely be a Ganon's Tower double dip. Can I please have my first Ganon's Tower double dip, please?
Just a little as a treat.
So before we go any further, what number are you guessing?
Oh, I usually try to guess something sort of nice, like, I'm gonna say 5 today.
All right, I'm gonna go for the other thing I've never seen before. I want to see the big key in the tile room. 22.
Oh, you've never seen it in the tile room?
Nope. In theory, it's got like a 5% chance of showing up there. In practice, I have never seen it.
Wow, I have been personally trolled by it many times, and it is horrible. Ah, your dreams are dashed. Location 1.
So sad.
Rip. All right, locations 2 through 5. We'll see if I'm correct in here. 2 is nothing.
3 is a small key. 4 is a shield, and 5 is a piece of heart.
I'm not right today. Doing the Dark Magician strats.
So what is the Dark Magician strats? I hear that a lot, but I don't think I've ever actually heard anybody explain exactly what Dark Magician.
I think there's 2 variants, but they basically mean going left and doing the room with the skulltulas, and then mirroring out and going right. Some people do the 2 chests and then go left and then go right. I don't think that really makes all that much sense, but yeah, the is basically the highest concentration of chests that you can do fairly quickly.
I see. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So we're at 7, right? I haven't miscounted.
Yes. Nope, we're at 7. We have not yet found our big key, so it's going to be 8 or higher. Anybody who guessed a lower number in chat, I'm sorry.
8 is the bug net. 9 is the map. 10 is a heart container. And 11 is a red rupee.
Mm-hmm. Now, I don't know if there's any particular strategy with going full right. I don't really know of anybody who does that. People usually decide to go full left, and then, if you have to fight the Armos Knights, fine.
The one time I've ever seen somebody go hard full right, they did the start of Dark Magician and then just went full right, cleared full right, and the Big Key was behind the Armless Knights.
Mm-hmm. So not too bad a strategy all around in that kind of a case.
Nah, I mean, if you think about it, logically, the Big Key can show up any, right?
Mm-hmm.
So each spot is equally likely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, every spot has like a slightly less than 5% chance. That besides that, okay, that was number 12 that we just saw, which was not the key.
Yep, Chloe hit go mode about 12 minutes ago. They found the flutes and basically decided, all right, let's wrap this up.
Mm-hmm. Yep, they're going to be heading up here before too long. And same for our other runners, honestly. Well, 13, big heart. And here's the rando room. Don't miss it. There's nothing worse than walking in that teleporter and missing the rando room. Most people don't do that. I have done that. All right. 14. 15! Lucky 15.
So anybody who guessed number 15, congratulations. You and all of my non-existent love.
Oh, we've got Azuark guessed 15. I think that was the only person to guess 15, so good job.
Congratulations to you. It's actually, I don't think I remember the last time I saw only one person guess a number.
Huh. Well, congratulations. GFE wrapping up Swamp Palace here. Just has to go and do Misery Mire. Speaking of Misery Mire, Chloe Prower just about to finish it and head up to the final climb. Duke Firebird also heading up that way.
So it looks like the difference is that P-Train's going to get there first, but P-Train's going to have to do this with a Master Sword.
Yes, that is going to feel not super wonderful, but we have silver arrows, so it's not as bad as it could be.
Yeah, no. Master Sword Silverless makes me want to eat my hand.
That's the only correct response, I think.
I'm sure there's at least one person out there who's like, yeah, it's time for a challenge. This is going to be fun.
Yeah,
But
Master Sword Ganon.
I think whoever that is, you're crazy.
I think if you know everybody else is either looking for a sword so that they don't have to do it, or is less good at it than you, then maybe it feels pretty good.
Okay, I'll give you that.
But it is tough, and if you really want to get good at it, you have to master. First of all, you have to get the torch glitch every time. Then you also have to master the triple hits, which require pretty precise timing.
Yeah, that's more precise than I can afford. Meanwhile, in situations that I feel bad about missing, somehow not only did we miss Duke Firebird getting go mode, we missed Duke Firebird clearing all of the pendant dungeons.
All of them?
I'm sorry, all of the crystal dungeons.
Oh, okay. I've been looking every now and then and being like, yep, good job.
Yeah, I have a really bad habit of putting the wrong word into things. And it's always like, it's not a random word, it's the opposite word of the word I mean. Always.
Yeah, it's never just like, oh yeah, Duke Firebird got all the trouts. And it's like, what?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Wow. Chloe Prower and Duke Firebird kind of neck and neck here as they entered Ganon's Tower, which is going to be kind of fun to watch them as they head up. Butter Sword versus Tempered Sword and left versus right, potentially paying a big difference here.
Yep. Well, we know where the key is now, so whichever one... I think Duke Firebird actually managed to overtake Chloe climbing the mountain, because Duke Firebird climbed all the way up to Turtle Rock and then went into the Dark World, and Chloe decided to enter the Dark World at the base of the mountain and climb from the Dark World, and I think that cost her some time.
It's possible. So Duke Firebird going left to start, and Chloe as well.
And of course, they're both completely behind P-Train.
Yeah, P-Train, checking that last chest in there. I'm not sure what P-Train is hoping to find. Oh, actually, I know exactly what P-Train is hoping to find. A sword. Not gonna find one, though.
No, no sword. Maybe, I think the best thing that P-Train could find in one of these chests, maybe he'll open the last one, is red mail. But other than that...
Everything else is off the table.
Piece of heart.
Just one piece of one heart. And both Duke Firebird and Chloe Prower going right.
Oh, is Duke Firebird
doing the tile room play? Oh, we know it's not going to get them the big key. Will it possibly get them, I don't know, red mail? That would be fun.
I don't care what it gets them. It gets them a piece of my heart.
And that's definitely the most priceless gift of all. I hope they mirror out after this, but they will probably continue to go right.
I think Duke feels like they are behind. And so the only recourse Duke has is to do something. Boots. I am so happy right now.
Tile room had boots?
Tile room had boots. I am so happy.
Wow. I'm sorry. I guess we're done the race. Duke Firebird won.
Yeah, we're done.
Yep. Found the boots, the ultimate prize. None of the other runners are going to find those boots, most likely.
Uninformed plebe, I have a heart by stop poking logic-shaped holes in my argument. I think it's safe to say that nobody else is going to find boots this run.
I am surprised anybody found boots. A tile room that didn't have to be done is where the boots are. That's just mean, but also kind of great.
I am so happy.
So now we're going to get to see boots versus having to wait to get boots because they were almost like in sync, essentially. Like they were quite close. So now we'll really get to see what difference it makes having boots to do the exact same thing.
Yeah, and I feel like if boots had been literally anywhere other than tile room, they definitely would have been worth it. But at this point, I feel like, given that we know where the big key is, and it's not super deep, it's pretty deep, but it's not like the last chest you see.
Yeah, just random room.
Then I don't necessarily know if it was strictly worth it. It made me happy, but I think he's lost too much time to this play, and he's not going to be able to catch up with the boots.
Yeah, I think you're right. Also,
oh, hold up, we need to focus on P-Train.
P-Train. Oh yeah, okay. P-Train is doing the phase 3 of Ganon now with the Master Sword. Got through phases 1 and 2. Has 1 heart left.
4 bottles. Any chance one of them has a fairy?
I know they picked up a fairy. I don't believe P-Train has used it, so hopefully they do have that security, but we'll see.
Alright, so P-Train's probably fine then.
And here's where those silver arrows are going to be worth their weight in gold.
Absolutely. Oh, we missed the torch glitch.
That's alright. With half magic and silvers, we're fine.
I know, it just makes me sad. I like that glitch.
It is
the most basic thing ever. I found it as a kid. Like,
oh yeah.
It might be the most iconic glitch of the game just because it's so easy to find by mistake.
Mm-hmm. You're just like, oh, I guess it's just not going out. But speaking of going out of the boss room to collect the final Triforce, P-Train is our restream winner with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 40 minutes, and 53 seconds, which is the exact same time that they've got on their timer, which is nice. Overall, coming in 3rd place, which is really great. With the 2 runners before, Hitsuyan was in first at 139.52, and Cavallo Maluko with 139.53.
So those 2 were within 1 second, and P-Train missed first place by a minute.
Exactly. Wow, that's amazing. great job to all three of those runners, but especially P-Train, our restream winner.
Absolutely.
Meanwhile, everybody else in the tower.
Yep. GFE is... How much you want to bet GFE is going to do Dark Magician?
Oh, I mean, seems like they're heading that way, so...
It just seems to be the route right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if that's a logic thing, or if that's a ease of player comfort thing, but it just seems like literally everyone is running Dark Magician. Meanwhile, Chloe just absolutely crushed Moldorm too, so absolutely no surprise there.
And we're joined now by P-Train, our restream winner. GG.
GG.
So that seed, which I have to say, Glacial missed the first part of it, so pretty much all the light world, unfortunately. But
I'm so sad I didn't get to see Aga seeds. I always love watching seeds that are like the least fun things for the runners to do. I don't know why. I'm such a saver.
I don't mind Aga myself. I mean, if it's required, everyone's got to do it, so it's not like, you know.
That's fair.
Yeah, there's no sequence breaking out of it or anything today. How did you feel about that? The sick kid having a bottle.
Yeah, that was kind of funny. The only reason I checked that was because there was a bottle. I think it was either on Uncle or the secret passage chest. So I was like, oh great. So if anyone went to Uncle first, they had that bottle when they went to Kakariko for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
So just in case they had hammer or mitts, I decided to. I usually don't walk that way, but because of the way it played out, I was like, you know, it's better safe than sorry here.
Yeah, it turned out to be a bit of a red herring. There are a bunch of those in this, but I think my favorite logic chain was the catfish to go get the powder to then go to the bat to get the flute.
Yeah, I suspected that it was either going to be that, because I'm shocked that I got a podium finish with this. I figured it was either going to be catfish with the powder leading to the flute, or it was going to be Quake on left side swamp.
And it was both of those things.
Yeah, because I know that Pendant Pod is kind of almost a meme in the community with how often it has progression. I decided to skip it because I last location Aga. But then I got mitts where they were, and because I had already checked catfish, I just went ahead and did the bat with the mirror because I didn't have the hammer. And when I got flute, I was like, oh snap, you know, this could be awesome, especially if hammer is in the mire area. Hammer wasn't in the mire area, hammer wasn't on Dark Death Mountain, so I finally go back to Pod, make the decision to leave after the hammer, and full cleared mire for nothing. Then go back to Pod, find go mode. That was not that did not feel great. And at that point, I was like, oh well, I'm probably going to lose now.
You did pretty well considering, although we were definitely kind of trying to mentally communicate to you to tell you to go back there and get your fire rod.
Go get your fire rod.
The other runners mostly they completed the Palace of Darkness because they did it a little bit earlier, and they wound up getting a sword for their trouble, so that would have helped out a little bit. But you know, honestly, you did that fight so smoothly. We were just like gabbing away, and I pretty much missed your whole like first couple of parts of the fight with Ganon because it was you just did so well.
Yeah, my plan was, because it was the first item and it was the front of Pod, go ahead and leave, do what I can, do what's reasonable. Like, let's clear all the crystal dungeons, but the moment I have to make a hard decision, let's go right back to Pod and then full clear it, because I figured if you did it early and found hammer in the front, odds are you number one, if you find hammer in Pod, routing in catfish after that becomes really difficult. Number two, if you find hammer in the front of Pod, I personally would not kill Helmasaur in that scenario. I would get everything but Helmasaur and leave, which then makes Helmasaur really difficult to come back to in the late game. So I was like, oh, well, if Fire Rod is on Helmasaur or Green Pendant, that would be really good for me if I leave 4 items in here and make it that much more of an attractive place later on in the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you kind of went there with a like a magnet when you were going there.
Yeah, I can see your logic. That makes sense to me. At that point, it's just luck that it wasn't the right call, but it was not a bad call when you put it like that.
Yeah, I mean, especially finding Quake on left side swamp. I felt really good about it until Meyer didn't have anything. So then at that point, I was like, the real choice between, like, in my mind, was do I want to do Spike Cave before going back to Pod? Just because I figured everybody else had Hammer when they were up on Dark Death Mountain, so they probably routed in Spike Cave with that, but I figured more likely people just full cleared Pod while they were there.
Yep. Meanwhile, Chloe Prower has managed to down Ganon just a little bit ahead of Duke Firebird, so I guess that answers the question about the boots. Oh yeah, that reminds me. Hey, P-Train, do you want to try and take a guess where the boots were?
I honestly have no clue. Worst place for me would probably be Hammer Pegs. Like, I'd feel really bad about that.
Nope. Think of the worst, least checked place in the entire game, probably.
That depends on who you are. For me, I mean, I don't know. Least likely to have progression would be Bombo's tablet.
Ganon's Tower tile room.
Yep. So Duke Firebird finishing it up with the boots.
Honestly, I don't think that's worth it. Like,
Nope.
I'm trying to do the math in my head. I don't think you make up enough time to make that a worthwhile check.
I can save you the math. Chloe and Duke were basically neck and neck in Ganon in the same room at the same time. Chloe continued right. Duke stopped to do tile room. Duke into the race about a minute later.
Yep. So now we know we have evidence, empirical evidence.
And I think Chloe actually fell at Moldorm, so it's even longer.
Yeah. We are being joined by one of the people who just finished with us. We have Duke Firebird in the room. GG.
You are my new favorite person.
I am your new favorite person. Why is that?
Because you found the boots.
That was so trolly.
Thank you so much for finding those for us.
I was banking on the big key being there because I'm like, okay, this is way too easy.
We were just saying we had a really cool comparison because you and Chloe Prower were basically neck and neck at that point, and then you decided to go tile room like instead of continuing to do right at that point. And so we got to see the difference between doing tile room and then getting boots, or just not getting boots, but not wasting your time on tile room.
Yeah, it is what it is.
What it was amazing and enjoyable. So thank you.
That was
no
an
problem.
absolute delight. I am so happy you did that.
Well, again, like I said, the way the seed was going in my book, I was like, okay, the trolliest place this could be is going to be tile room because let's face it, you put Hammer and Pod, Pendant Pod, and have the fire rod behind that. It's like, oh, let's have some fun.
Yeah, P-Train jumped out after getting the hammer and then wound up having to go back for but still came in third overall.
GG, man.
Appreciate it.
So what were your favorite trolls of this seed, Duke Firebird?
Oh, besides the hammer, that one was pretty good. Really, the fact that Catfish Fetch Quest was pretty good. The fact that we only got one medallion, that's actually a troll in and of itself, because it was like, all right, I have no need to check Meyer or Turtle Rock for that matter, until I had a medallion, because I'm like, well, there's no point in double checking it unless like Meyer Shed's the last thing I have to check. And then, Quake. Okay, good. I'll go check oh, hey, I can pseudo go mode this. And at that point, I was like, I'll just treat this as go mode and I'll just pray I don't need the boots.
But for me, I think the biggest troll, like, I don't think Hammer in Pod itself is a troll. Because I mean, for me, like when I didn't do pod right after Aga. I felt like that was the gamble. I felt like it was the obvious way to go straight to pod, especially with the bow that didn't lead to anything in Eastern. I don't necessarily think that the catfish powder leading to the flute was a troll in and of itself. I think really what was the trick was the fact that there were both of them, because especially with the flute and the hammer, like you find that hammer in pod, catfish becomes a really difficult check to route in if you haven't done it up until that point. I imagine your next best chance would be with the big bomb.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Because you likely you've already done Hera at that point. You find the fire rod in pod, assuming you stay. So you do Skull Wood. So at the end of everything, you check the big bomb and then just go up to catfish, and I think that's when you get the powder.
Yeah,
I think that's your next best chance.
Yeah, and you probably would have put that off for a while because you would have had Dark Death Mountain, you would have had potentially Turtle Rock. I mean, I don't even know what its medallion was because I didn't even go up that route. Oh, it was Ether? Oh, fun.
It was Ether.
Anyone find it?
No. In fact, Quick was the only medallion any of our streamed runners found. We have no idea where the other two could possibly be. They're in Turtle
Yeah,
Rock.
honestly, I did
probably in Desert. It's probably in Desert.
I did not want to see Ether at all this season. Although the fact that it was Fire Rod Go mode for me, I wasn't that worried about it. But yeah, the last thing I wanted to see at any point in this game was Ether.
Oh, I agree. I think my go mode effectively was going to be, it was Quake. And I saw Ice Rod, and I just went, oh, great. And then I saw Quake, and I went, oh, great. Without knowing.
Chloe's actually in chat and points out that there was the option to mirror to the bat and fake powder with the mushroom. And that could have been a really good play. Nobody took it. And judging by the SRL times, nobody at all took it. But...
I think a lot of people might have gotten their mushroom after powder, though. So.
We have GFE joining us here, GGE. Good job on the fight. It was a really nice, clean fight I was watching while we were chatting about stuff.
Get farm scrub.
Hey, let's just say this. That's more like what I expect out of Rando.
How are you feeling?
In seeds lately. It's been a while since I've had a real good hundo seed where I make every wrong decision.
I've been watching some of your recent races. I've been tracking some of your recent races. I don't really know what to say after that.
Well, I mean, this seed was simple. You just go to Pendant Pod after Aga and you win.
So believe it or not, I actually first off, I last locationed Aga. I took a gamble on Aga not being required, so Aga was the very last thing I did in the Light World, and then I also skipped Pendant Pod.
Yeah, I last locationed Aga, and I last locationed Hammer, and I predict I'm probably the only person who got Butter Sword.
No, I did too.
At least on the restream.
Duke got it as well.
Yeah, but you know what Duke also got? Boots.
Oh man.
Where were boots?
You don't want to know.
Take a guess. Take a guess. Just know that this is my favorite thing ever. Take a guess at where the boots were.
Tile room?
Yeah, you got it.
And why didn't I go with my 4-key GT Strappy train? It still probably would have lost time. Oh man.
Like
I'm curious enough. I'm gonna check a couple things.
Yeah, I'm really like I didn't expect to do as good as it did, because not only did I skip pod the first time, when I found the hammer, I immediately left pod. And then I went full cleared swamp.
How did you do this well then, man?
Dude, I have no
time?
I did skip some things. So because I didn't have the hammer, whenever I got the mitts, I immediately backtracked to do the smiths rather than do
I
hype
did
cave.
the same.
And I got flute at that time. So I got flute rather than going to hype cave and bombo stab. So then after that I did Dark Death Mountain, and when that didn't have anything, I went to pod. First thing I found in pod was was the hammer. So then I left, full cleared swamp, full cleared mire, and then went immediately back to pod.
I guess that makes sense because you wouldn't have much access to anything else.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, I had hammer pegs, spike cave, and bombos tablet, and that was like it. So, and I intentionally left the hammer because what I was gambling on is that either number one, fire rod is not in pod, or number two, fire rod is on Helmasaur or Green Pendant. So I was hoping that everybody that did a really early pod found the hammer and then didn't kill Helmasaur for the Green Pendant. So I was going to leave 4 items in pod and the Green Pendant to make that just that much more of an attractive place to come back.
Well, you missed your fourth sword on Helmasaur, so.
Yep. I finished with silvers and master sword.
Meanwhile, Duke has gone back into the
sounds
game
about right.
is checking some of the boots locations.
Yeah, might as well.
Man. I mean, this is just a seed that's going to rando you if you don't get that hammer when you need to. The whole reason I went on to Helmasaur was by the time I got hammer complete last location, I knew I was behind. I did, kind of like P-Train was mentioning, I hope some people might have got hammer and left, and like he did apparently, and missed that fire rod. That was just gambling. Maybe Quake is on Helma or Green Pendant. And then I chose to go to Ice Palace very first thing after that because it was the lower percentage play. So I knew if I was going to catch up, I needed that to pay off. And got my butter sword there, and that's about it.
So how are you guys feeling?
At least I get
lead?
a little bit
I liked
salty,
it.
but I mean, that's Rando's going to do that to you from time to time. And
Rando's gonna
I've had
do that.
so many good runs lately that it was bound to come up. But
Yeah, I felt like
big
I played
GGs
worse
to
than I placed.
everybody.
I felt like I played worse than I placed. But I'm happy with the finish, obviously. I mean, can't really complain a whole lot about third place.
Yeah.
No, definitely not. Especially with the way the seed went.
Yeah, and being within a minute of the first two finishers who finished within a second of each other, like, you know, everybody was trolled very similarly in this seed.
Also, note to self: make sure you have magic when you go into Cold Stare, Duke. Yeah, I did attempt to do the sword beam strat, and I just did not get one shot. And I was like, what the heck?
Oops.
I had half magic, although I can't remember where I got it.
Oh, wow.
Hype Cave.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
That would explain that, because I never went there.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
just
I actually
upgrade
skipped
cave.
it.
You never
I
went
did.
to Hype Cave?
No,
I
I went from pod. I did Catfish, and then I did pod, and then I took the northern route. And by the time I got Mitts at Stumpy, I went back to grab Blacksmith, grab the purple chest, drop off Bombos, and then I went into Swamp. And then Swamp gave me Quake. And then I went and checked Mire, and then I saw I was in bootless go mode, and I was like, all right, screw it.
Yeah, she was on that. I went to Swamp before Hype Cave because I forgot I hadn't done it.
I did first chest of Swamp after Hype Cave.
And then realized, yeah. Oops. can't go
Second
to-
chest, I guess you should say. Second
Yeah.
chest of Swamp.
And then, I guess I need a hammer to do any more of this.
I think that was right about when I came in too. I missed the entire Light World section, and I'm kind of sad about it. It sounds like it was just absolutely a delight
It
to
was
watch.
fun.
Maybe not to play.
I will say that the early desert bait was pretty rude.
Speaking of, Duke is back in, climbing up to Land Mall as one because apparently they've got something.
Why not? Let's see what every single thing that we can get from the boots.
No,
yeah,
that's
I
it.
did.
That's the
I did
last item.
Desert. I did Desert before Aga and felt really bad about it.
Same.
Yeah. That book was a red herring for sure.
It's
Well,
worth
actually,
noting-
wait. I think there's one more I can check. I don't. Did anybody do Pyramid Fairy?
I did.
Yes.
Right, I did it before Swamp.
Ah. Okay, fine. Spike Cave.
That is
Yeah.
about the only thing I skipped.
Oh wait, no, I didn't do Spike Game. Hey, guys,
Spike Cave
I really-
Spike Cave might be.
I think Ether has to be in like one of 3 spots as of now.
Yeah, I really appreciate the restream, guys. Unfortunately, I do have to step away, but thank you so much for the restream. Thank you so much for commentating.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
definitely.
good
Thanks for
stuff.
running, man.
Yeah,
No
thanks.
problem.
GG.
GG Duke and GFE and Chloe.
GG.
EG scrub.
Catch y'all later.
Yep, definitely.
See ya.
Actually, that's
Let me
probably-
go ahead and echo P-Train's comments there. Always appreciate all that the Speed Gaming crew and everybody involved does for this. Even though this seed went pretty rough, I still look forward to watching it back, see what y'all have to say. So, I'll catch y'all again next time.
Yep, definitely. Catch you next time, man.
Yeah, thanks for coming on.
And actually, while we're here, because we've probably got to wrap relatively soon, let's go ahead and throw out one more comment. You guys in the chat, make sure you guys give all the runners a follow. You can get their Twitches doing !R in chat. That's twitch.tv/Duke Firebird, Chloe Prower, GFE12, and P-Train24.
And don't forget our trackers who did so much work tracking all those bottles, tracking all those upgrades. They did a lot of work today, and they deserve your follows as well. We've got Draco Falcone and Red Armor.
Especially with all of the random chatting that we started doing in the second half, it's like, oh wait, we look back and somebody's picked up half their items and is in go mode. And it's like, when did that happen?
Yeah. Oh, right.
Oh,
we have
fun.
a race. Oh, goodness.
Yeah, shout outs to the 4 bottles basically before Aga. What the heck?
Yeah, the bottles, and then leading into the sick kid who also has a bottle.
Yeah.
Well,
I
thanks.
I think Ether is in Ganon's tower.
It's got to be at this point. I don't think there's anything else that hasn't been checked.
Yeah, behind the Armos Knights, I guess.
And then Bombos has to be in Turtle Rock. I can't see any other option. Thanks for checking that for us, though.
Yeah, no worries. I'm just more curious.
All
And
right.
then
Well,
last but not least, while we're doing Twitch shoutouts, make sure you go and give Cataclysm a follow, because, like, you're basically the only commentator for the first 50 minutes, and you made it work, so...
it was kind of fun, but then it was also like even more fun to have somebody come in and be like, "Oh yeah, this is why doing it with another person's nice."
There's a reason that they do this in pairs. Who would have thought?
Ah, who would have thought? Yeah, and give Glacial a follow too. Hey, sometimes stuff comes up, and we're all just volunteers here. So you know what? We're just here to bring you whatever show we can bring you, and we're just glad to be here.
Hope everybody in the chat enjoyed it, and I think we're done here.
I think so. Have a great night, everybody.
Night.
Night, guys. Thanks, everyone.